Welcome to Things You Should Know, American Civil War Edition. Today, we're moving to Catoosa County, Georgia for the Battle of Ringgold Gap, which would occur November 27, 1863. Union forces consisted of more than 16,000 men, led by General Joseph Hooker, and consisted of members of the 1st Division of the 15th Corps and the 2nd Division of the 12th Corps. Meanwhile, Confederate General Patrick Cleburne and more than 4,000 individuals from Little's, Lowry's, Polk's Brigade, and Smith's Brigade, and were supported by Semple's Alabama artillery. In total, those 4,000 men would attempt to stop Hooker. The end result was an increasingly rare Confederate victory. Following a Union victory at Missionary Ridge on November 25th, Confederate General Braxton Bragg's Army of the Tennessee retreated south towards Dalton, Georgia. To secure the Army's artillery and supply wagons, Bragg ordered Major General Patrick Cleburne and his 4,100-strong division to Ringgold Gap, a narrow mountain pass critical for Confederate logistics. On the night of November 26, Cleburne positioned his troops strategically within the Ringgold Gap. His men forded the icy waters of the East Chickamauga Creek, marching through the town of Ringgold itself to establish defenses at the gap between White Oak Mountain and Taylor's Ridge. He deployed 2 cannons and concealed his infantry in dense timber behind brush screens. Cleburne's orders were clear: hold the gap at all costs until Bragg's supply trains were safe. At around 7:30 a.m., Union Major General Joseph Hooker, commanding his 16,000 troops, advanced into Ringgold without artillery, confident after recent Union victories. His lead forces under Brigadier General Charles Woods encountered stiff resistance as they approached the Confederate position. Cleburne's men held their fire until Union soldiers were within 50 yards, then unleashed a devastating volley that sent the surprised Yankees reeling. Hooker's attempts to outflank the Confederate positions proved futile. Union troops tried scaling both White Oak Mountain and Taylor's Ridge, but were repelled by fierce Confederate fire. Brigades under Colonels Williamson and Creighton made repeated assaults, suffering heavy casualties. Creighton himself was killed while rallying his men during an ill-fated charge. Despite being outnumbered, Cleburne's forces held their ground for over 5 hours. By noon, having received confirmation that Bragg's supply trains had reached safety, Cleburne skillfully began an orderly withdrawal. He left skirmishers to cover the retreat and burned a railroad bridge east of the gap to hinder Union pursuit. Union General Ulysses Grant arrived on the battlefield later, but observing the disorganized state of Hooker's forces and the formidable natural defenses, chose not to continue to pursue. Hooker's troops occupied Ringgold by 2 p.m., but at a significant cost. Cleburne's stand at Ringgold Gap was a tactical success for the Confederacy. It delayed Hooker long enough for Bragg's army to regroup in Dalton and marked the end of the Union's pursuit following the Chattanooga campaign. Casualty reports do vary, but Union losses ranged from 432 to over 500 men, while Confederate casualties were around 221. Despite the heavy toll, Cleburne's leadership preserved a critical segment of the Confederate Army, allowing them to fight on for several more months. Join us again next time on Things You Should Know, American Civil War Edition.